Mrs. Green is a retired woman of 60 years. She lives alone in a tiny home, closed off but near Washington, D.C. On a singular morning, she relived this atrocious nightmare.
During the nightmare, she felt this creature placing cold hands and eyes that shot through her, imposing a dyspnea and paralyzing force. She began to move out of her body. She had a strange sense that her consciousness was outward of her body. Wanting to return to her body, the woman was rendered helpless. She planned to scream, but words, even with all her will, could not leave the woman's mouth.
She had an eerie sense that various creatures were close to her, looking at her in a cold, detached way, leaving the feeling that she was somehow violated, emotionally and physically.
The feelings lingered throughout dawn. She developed a type of PTSD, having flashbacks several times each week. Mrs. Green also would have freaky experiences, with accounts of herself being scanned by alien-human hybrids called Ayers. She felt the thoughts of the aliens were malicious through her telepathic sense. This was very worrisome, and for the next weeks, she felt physically sick and acted strange at times. Sometimes asking her therapist permission to consult these beings. It is difficult to fathom the trauma this woman must have gone through. Mrs. Green's therapist was skeptical at first, but finally was persuaded that would be helpful for Mrs. Green to achieve closure if she wanted to recover her normal psychological state. There were rumored photos she found in her room of herself being examined by 3 emaciated-looking aliens using advanced, extraordinary, medical and technologically advanced instruments. After the many medical procedures, she would be sent back from the alien satellite to her bed before taking telepathic directions to forget the entire episode. Every time Mrs. Green recounted these episodes, she would grow strange spots on her body, similar to symptoms of a sunburn. Nevertheless, she still told loved ones that she herself had encountered alien life forms. There is no need to be surprised by this account. There are thousands of accounts, including alien abduction experiences. There are also prolific reports of Ayers, human and alien hybrids, and temporary pathological out-of-body sensations. Ayers are generally represented to be strange, emotionally detached, malicious, and causing major distress. It is also noted that these experiences are associated with waking upon a paralytic state while being given the sense of a strange figure or figures seeing strange balls of blinding light. Sleep pathology is very important to Ayers because Ayers feed telepathically on the dreams of their victims. This can explain why abductions and encounters with Ayers are usually between 2 to 5 a.m. Ayers also abduct only one individual, but can abduct more, as there are many accounts of up to 3 people being abducted
At one time, but are considerably more rare. Ayers will generally abduct an individual more than one time, and usually the experiences are very prolific, and an individual will have
these experiences several times over the course of years, and even a lifetime. Ayers are rumored to look into and individual's consciousness, whether intact or partial, and remove any recollections of these experiences. Sometimes, long after the experience, the victim will be able to recollect the experience. If the victim is difficult, the Ayers will sometimes use aggressive retrieval techniques, such as hypnotic regression. The common choices of Ayers to capture an individual on a UFO and commence an examination of sorts. The individual is subjected to physical, mental, and spiritual tests, primarily based on tons of experiences investigating Ayers. The experiences are categorized by their primary events involving physical activities, for example, removal of the originate terrestrial surroundings or atmosphere, the taking of tissue samples, insertion of implants, mental activities, paranormal manipulation, psychological testing, data exchange, and medical procedures like embryo implantation and removal of vertebrae. These descriptions illustrate that Ayer encounters are dynamic, elaborate, and anxious experiences.